YouTubers, Sandro Chiavaro with Beer Circles. A little home brewing like experiment right now. I'm not really sure all the things that I'm doing here, but I was contacted by a friend that wanted me to, asked me if I wanted to brew a pilot batch of mate, a brew beer. And this is one of the ones that I have at home right now. I'm just going to hide the brand, but it's an organic Yerba Mate or Mate. Most people call it Mate. I'm not showing the brand. Hopefully I'm not violating some copyright laws and end up having to pay a fine on this. But anyway, this is what I got at home. The reason why I'm using this is because it comes in tea bags. Usually mate, it comes loose. And I'm a woodworker and turned myself a little traditional cup made out of wood and use a straw. So you put the loose mate tea inside the cup, pour hot water, not boiling. You don't want to scorch the tea, and put the straw in it. And at the end of the straw, there's a little perforated little section plate that becomes a filter, and you drink out of the straw. This is a lot of traditional ways to drink the tea. You pass it around the person that hosts the event or the party at home, and prepares the mate as the person that drinks it first, because you would think it's the opposite, but because the tea is so bitter, the first runnings, I would call it, for all the homebrewers out there, you know what that means, are very bitter, and it would be rude for the person hosting the party to pass it on to somebody else. But you drink out of one cup. That's a real traditional way. I mean, how many people drink it still that way? That's a debate. I'm not really sure. I know people do it. I know it's a pretty trendy thing for young people to do all over South America. Argentina is a big drinker of yerba mate or mate. Bolivia and a few other places as well. So anyway, it's a very bitter, very earthy tea. There's some smoked version of it. This is not one of them. I will probably do the same experiment with a smoked version of this. This is what I have in hand right now. My friend just called me. I didn't get anything. This is what I had at home. And I thought I'd pour some of my Patter's beer that I get on tap at home. Very light in hoppiness, so the very light bitterness. And there's a little bit of bitterness, probably like 25 IBUs. It was 100% Belgian Pilsner malts and 100% German Saaz. I modified the Northern Brewer recipe that I found on their website, and also after talking to a few people like Chip Walton, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with by now, or have been familiar for a long time actually. And he told me that he fermented his in a Brewing TV episode in a very cold temperature. So I tried to mimic that process, and it came out really clean. It's a little bit of residual sweetness, but not really. Pretty dry. I thought it'd be a good canvas to infuse with some mate. So anyway, not that I need the French press, but that's what I had. Put a little bag of mate in there. I'm just gonna plunge it just to make sure it stays at the bottom. If you have the loose version, that would come more handy. So I just literally fill my French press at the tap. It's right behind me. I don't know if you can see. Probably not. It's behind me somewhere. It's right there. My kegerator. And put the tea bag to infuse cold for now about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. I'm not really sure how much character that would bring to the beverage, but I'm assuming it'll bring some. I'll clean this later. Interesting enough, some of the tea particles have escaped the bag, so it's actually pretty good that I have that. So I will put it back on. But I also put another bag in hot water. Mate is not served. I mean, you're not infusing the tea in boiling water. It's definitely not the way to do this. It will be extremely bitter. It's already very bitter. This is extremely caffeinated. I mean, you can find this specific brand here, I cannot mention, makes a version that's an iced tea. I think it's sweetened with honey, if I don't mistake. There's a lot of companies that do this. But anyway, so I steeped this in water that was, right now it's 170, but I steeped it about 120. I'm sorry, it's not. It's 100, and let me see. Still over 100. It was 120. I'm sorry, that's at 117. Not true. About 125 when I steeped in another 15 minutes ago. So this has been sitting there for 15 minutes. Now I have this just water, and this obviously for one tea bag. It's, what is it? Half a cup, 4 ounces. That's a lot. So I'm just doing sampling here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first start all over. I'm going to put that back on, plunge it, leave all the tea particles. I'm going to pour myself a little bit of this. And once again, I'm not an inventor of this process. I just still some particles in the glass. But here's the beer. That's my Patty's beer. I call it Snackster's beer just to give it a different name because it didn't have the 2 different hop addition that were in the original recipe from Northern Brewer website. I narrowed it down to Saz, so it technically is a smash beer if you're not familiar with the term smash. Single malt, single hop, and smash. Great links on the topic on the internet if you're more curious about beers that have been brewed with a single malt and a single hop addition. But anyway, this is fermented with the Trappist ale yeast, and I can definitely still get the predominance of the yeast character and the breadiness of the Pilsner malt. It's extremely bready for being such a simple beer. It turned out really nice. I think the old people that give me advice, like Chip and other people, the Maltos Falcon homebrew shop set up in here in Los Angeles. So not much in the flavor, not much in the taste. Obviously 15 minutes cold infusion, I did not expect much to it. Maybe a slight increase of bitterness, actually. Actually there is, surprisingly. This stuff is potent. I mean, I'm not making this up. If you like bitter and you like tea, try Yerba Mate. I'm sorry if I pronounced this a little bit too OG for you, but Yerba, Y-E-R-B-A, means herb. Mate is the name of the herb. Yerba Mate. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to first get some more beer. Let's see if I'm really well. As soon as I apologize, I'm really new to all this stuff. I'm getting more beer here, and to about what seems to look like an ounce, I'm going to add maybe a little bit of the tea. Obviously, I'm diluting the beverage quite a bit. This is, what is this, 4, so it's like 2, so it's like, I put 1 ounce for 2 ounces of beer. So obviously I'm diluting the alcohol, the flavor of the beer, which is not the point right here. I'm not interested in the beer, I'm interested in the mate impact on bitterness and aromas. But just not do it with just water or wort, unfermented. I'm doing it with a fermented beer that I brewed myself. You could probably do this with store-bought beer, and it probably just works this as well. Just what I have in my kegerator. I don't want to sacrifice too much for this, but now I can definitely smell the components of the yerba mate, but it's still that the yeast, the Trappist yeast, Trappist ale yeast character shine, but I definitely have a grassy and earthiness on the nose, which is not unpleasant since this was hopped with Saz. Already has kind of those floral, spicy, grassy kind of like characters to it. So this kind of like has a different depth and a different dimension. Let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, by the way. Sorry. Wow, that was too much. Wow, just that little bit. Whoa. I mean, this was 4 ounces, and this is what I've used. Like nothing. It's like nothing. I don't know if you can see that. It's crazy. So from half a cup, I went down to like 3/4 of a cup. Even I went down like 1/4 of a cup down. Sorry, that's 3/4 of a cup left. So I mean, just like nothing. I know it was not a lot of beer, but it is definitely too much. The bitterness is gentle though, which I kind of like, but it's definitely increased even more. But the flavor is really interesting. I love mate, period. I know a lot of people like it, and I love beer. And I just really enjoy the combination of the both. I don't know, this is definitely the perfect style for an application like this, but it's not a bad not a bad option. This is definitely on my list. I might do like a Patter's beer with mate. That could be actually interesting because the beer is so light and crisp, but it also has the yeast component to the aroma and the flavor. The mate adds another dimension to it without making the beer heavy or too hoppy or something. It's definitely bitter, more bitter, but not in an unpleasant way. So here's my little experiment. I'm doing this so just, you know, a lot of home brewers out there maybe were like me or are like me, a little bit afraid to experiment things and waste resources like your own beer, crack a bottle open and waste it. You don't have to put this much. I mean, this is gonna probably drank. Actually, I probably won't drink this. Who am I kidding? I'm not gonna throw this away. But don't be scared. Like just jump right in. I mean, if an opportunity comes that you want to put a different product, I shouldn't call it a product, a different ingredient in your recipe, do it. And this is a cool way to kind of like get a sense of how much it would impact the regular beer without being too involved. I mean, what I did, I put this in a microwave, a little like a half a cup of water, a tea bag, another tea bag in there. It costs nothing. It's not like it's involved in any mean. But it's interesting because otherwise, how are you gonna know? You're gonna brew a whole 5-gallon batch or a 3-gallon brew in a bag batch, and it turns awful because you had no idea what you were doing, how much stuff you were putting in there, and then you throw it all away, or force yourself to drink, or torture your friends when they come over, and turn them into guinea pigs. No way. So there's options. You know, this is one that was brought to my attention by I forgot by who. It was actually on the Brewing TV episode. Chris Anglin, I think, for Bad Decision Brewing. I don't know. I don't remember, but that could be it. Somewhere in the back of my head, my brain, buried in there. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is stretching 13 minutes. It's way too long, so I'm going to cut it right here. So cheers. Experiment and enjoy it like your home brew. Close the circles and connect the loop of the beer circles. Have a good night.